Here we are, Friday. Can you all believe it? Friday, March 6th. We finally don't have rain currently. I think we're supposed to be dry pretty good during the day. We'll see how that all pans out. But I think we're supposed to be dry for a while today and then bring in some more rain tomorrow and then finally get out of here. And next, we got Sunday, Monday, I think, supposed to be pretty good shape. So we'll see how that all pans out. But hey, for now, we got the shop doors are open, trucks pulled out, taking off a few spreaders, and that's what we're doing here today. That's what we're doing here. We're looking forward to kicking off Monday, getting pre-emergent started and rocking and rolling. Yay! Finally, and like not a minute too soon, not a minute too soon. So that might be one of our latest starts that we've had in a while for getting our pre-emergent down. Um, we've had snow before, where around my birthday. And by the way, speaking of birthdays, appreciate all the birthday wishes yesterday you guys sent me. Uh, Appreciate each and every one of you guys doing that. That means a lot. It really does. Both hitting me up on my phone and on social media or whatnot. So I do appreciate all those uh, reach outs and means a lot. Really does. So I appreciate that. But when I say just late getting started, I mean we normally get started, and then if we have some snow or something, then we'll be on delay for a couple days or whatever. But as far as physically just trying to get started, um, this has been the year with the adventure. I'll say that. So we'll see. So kickoff's going to be Monday, March 9th for us, and the good side of that is, I guess, it gives us a little more protection, rolling a few more days or a week into the year. So we'll see how all that plays out and pans out. You never know till June, July, August time frame. So we'll see what rolls around at that point. But yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. Other than that, I hope you guys are into something good today. I know I saw a couple pictures some of you guys have sent me where you got you're out doing some mulching today. So cool. Glad to know you're out there making the cash register ring a little bit. We're looking forward to making the cash register ring a little bit too here. So um, going to get cold again maybe in about 7 to 10 days. We'll see how if that pans out. But currently, hey, we're going to enjoy the warm weather we got. I think we're going to about 80 today potentially. So we'll see if that works out. So it feels like summertime out there, Daniel,
It's crazy.
right now.
80 degrees.
Honest to God, it really, you know, oh Lord, everybody jokes about the weather, but I mean, is it normal anywhere? I mean, I know highs and lows make averages, but it's just unreal, unreal. So we'll see. It's been really, really cold, so now you get really, really warm. So then you're going to have an average temperature. So I don't know. We'll see what we got going on. Seth, good morning, my friend. Appreciate you listening. Today is heavy day for a family close to me. Let's all be thankful and take nothing for granted. Very well said. So, with that being said, um, Seth has got a special request out there without saying it. I get it. Got a family really close to him that could use a little bit of your help and prayer. So, if you are so inclined to believe in divine intervention and you'd like to send a little help their way, then we certainly would appreciate uh, that help. So, and we're not going to dive into it any further than that and ask any more questions of that because it doesn't matter. It's just, hey, somebody saying, hey, man, we could use your help. So that should be good enough. It always amazes me when people say, hey, what's going on? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what's going on. Somebody reach out for help, by God, help them, and just go from there. But anyways, hope you guys had a good week this week. It was rainy in a lot of places, snowing in a lot of places. I saw my buddy Tim Brennan up there in Schenectady was opening up this morning at 5 a.m. for guys to come by and get more material. So I think it was this morning at 5 a.m. But it's just hey, some guys are doing snow, some guys are rained out, and it's been quite the year to say the least, Daniel, for everybody.
Yep.
And it's going to be a good year. That's what That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a good year for each and every one of us because you know what? Before long, we're going to be talking about it being Memorial Day. Then it's going to be July 4th, and then it's going to be Labor Day, and then it's going to be Thanksgiving, and all those little. We're just going to move on through another year. So it's all going to be good. All going to be good. Daniel was talking about something on his show I want to talk about here in a minute. Just popped into my mind. I don't know why that brought that into my mind, but curious what you guys got going on this weekend. Um, are you doing anything fun, or you think, oh man, the sun's going to be out? I'm going to try to get a little work done, or get the equipment out of the barn, and get it checked up and just rock and roll. Because the thing is, here's what happens, or here's how it happens for us at WLS. We don't put stuff away broke, right? So if anything's not operating properly, we get it serviced when it needs service. But at the end of the year, we service everything, put it away. But it always seems like when you get stuff out in the spring, there'd always something that went to bed okay, but didn't wake up okay. So we'll see how that goes. Well, matter of perfect illustration of that. One of our 550s out here that we're getting ready to take a spreader off of. The lift cylinder on it, lifted it up, and when we went to put it back down, uh, we wanted to get to the bolts because we bolt our spreaders on, and when we went to put it back down, it wouldn't go back down. We had to tap the solenoid to get it. So there's something that didn't know didn't know anything about it in November, but here we are in March, and probably gonna need a little solenoid issue. So I'm gonna reach out to my buddy Tim Hamilton at TH Welding and Hydraulics there in Bardstown and see if he can get me in and get me rocking and rolling sometime between now and next time I need my truck. So, anyways, but other than that, man, don't. Hey, Saturday is clock time to move your clock up. I don't know if you touched on that or not, Daniel, but
Nope.
it is time to spring forward. So you go to bed at 2 or whatever it is. Whenever you go to bed, move your clock up an hour, meaning later in the evening. So it's time to. So let's see, Corey shot us a text here, and Corey, thanks for sending your thing in through the profit circle too. We'll get that taken care of. Let's see. Amen. Had to repair a chute blocker today. Deck was shredded where it was mounted and had to put some washers in there. It is. It's always a little something when you get rolling, you know. So Corey said, first mow of the season, ryegrass, pre-emergent is all down. Whew, God, congratulations, Corey.
Hmm.
He's done and we ain't even started. So I'll be glad when we say, "Hey, our granular pre-emergence down," because which we know what that means. It means that round's done, but it's not just to get through that round that we would need to start spraying broadleaf weed control sooner rather than later. And we had a little bit of that discussion the other day. So, but yeah, we're just glad to get started and we'll throw some pretty good resources at getting that pre-emergent down and see what we can do to get that first round knocked out pretty quickly because we're about 2 weeks from launch on starting our mowing maintenance contracts. That's normally the third Monday of March is when we start running those routes. So, and that's probably going to be a good start date. That's probably going to be a really good start date this year for most of our accounts. So that's coming up too, and big weekend coming up this weekend. I want to give a big shout out again to everybody that sent me some birthday thanks. I do appreciate that. Uh, yes, I am live today. Yes, Corey, it is going to somewhere around 80 degrees here today, too, man. Hard to believe. Daniel and I were just talking about that a second ago. I think he's going to get his bikini on and get on his deck this afternoon.
Yep, it'll
Um,
start tanning up.
Start tanning up,
Get
getting
the
ready,
vitamin D going.
get the vitamin D. There you go. Some real vitamin D.
Yeah.
Dang. Do you take vitamin D in the wintertime?
I don't take
Don't you?
anything right now. I used to take it.
I got you.
I stopped taking it for a while though. It's I mean it's good. It's good. I don't recommend not to or try
Yeah,
to.
no, I was just curious if you did. I know I do, but I didn't know if they were giving it to me just because,
I was actually
just being a
recommended
little.
to
There,
potentially supplement with it. So
Katie's getting new windows in her house today. You must get. She got all the contractors started off, I guess, huh? Did you get everybody rocking and rolling? Yes. That yay, yay. So good deal. She's going to have new windows when she goes home. Hopefully, that's the idea. Hopefully, at least before it rains next time. So they seem to think they're going to get them done for you today. I got you. Well, good deal. Good deal, man. Katie just got her a new house and already doing an upgrade, and she's gonna be able to open those windows up and down. Got them new, what double panes or whatever with the gas in between them, and gonna be saving some money. And there you go. By golly, you hadn't been there long enough to know that you're really saving money, but you will. I mean, anytime you can reduce airflow out and around and under and over anything, it's got to help. So. Anyways, yes, Stephen West, we are live. Second person's asked us that. Yeah. Maybe because we said it's 80 degrees. You know, like, well, it ain't 80 degrees yet out there. Let's see. What do we actually have out there?
67, I think.
67. Yeah. 67 out there right now. That's according to our friends there at BAM Weather, looking here at their app. And then they got something called a wet bulb is 65 too. I need to ask Brett or Matt about that. See what that wet bulb is. I see that all the time, and I've never looked it up to see actually what it is. Heck, some of you guys listening may know. I know we got a whole lot of different people listening with different interest, and one of them might be a little more meteorology and know what that is. But hey, just as as our opening today, just reiterate. Hope you're doing something fun this weekend. We might touch on that here in a minute, but hope you're having a great week and getting some things done. Big shout out to Seth and his friends that need a little bit of divine intervention. So again, if you guys are inclined for that, that'd be awesome. He would certainly appreciate that. But here it is, time for profit time, and we've had the turf nerds, we had Eric and Jennifer on, and Daniel with the pump station. And Daniel, something you said, man, was really crazy when you said it on your show. That I can't remember what year you said it was going to be, but the weight of plastic may outpace the weight of the fish in
In
the
the
ocean.
oceans. Yeah, 2050 I think was the year.
I
So
mean, that's God bless you, Katie.
it's pretty close.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
I mean,
I mean, that's a shocking thing to think about. I
mm,
think it was 11 million metric tons of plastic added into the oceans each year. So multiply that by 25, and that's how many more
yeah,
millions of tons we'll have by
that's just
then.
that's just incredible numbers. I mean, and it's like, where's it going? And I
Place.
mean, they talk about whoever they is, okay, but I know you're supposed to recycle and all that, but and it is definitely the best thing to do. I'm not minimizing recycling, so
Well,
for
as
everybody,
we talked about on our show, it's actually the third best thing to do.
is it?
Reduce and reuse are the two top things. That's, they're in order of importance.
But why don't we just use something that's going to biodegrade? I
I would
mean,
say because it's probably
it,
like once you open the can, you can't put it back in.
you
People
know,
are used to it. People like it's a good product, right? Plastic is it works great, I mean, it is what it is. So it's like, how do you get people to go backwards?
yeah,
How do you get
that's
people to
fair.
be less convenient or less,
Well, it's like plastic bags at the grocery store, and you said, you put them in your pantry, and I thought of us right away because we do that. Put them right in the pantry, and then use them as you need them, and then when they get too full, you throw them out as you get them. But um, they used to all be paper bags. When you went
Yeah.
to the grocery store, you got a paper bag,
Yeah.
and
Paper sacks are coming back, I will say, in
are they?
popularity. Not everywhere, but especially in smaller grocery stores. I know things like the Whole Foods, I think, and like the Aldi has paper. Um, Trader Joe's has
Do they?
paper.
So I mean, it just makes sense, man. I mean,
And I think
everything's
it's
not.
problematic because people, once again, like what does that do to the prices of things?
Yeah,
That's what people are going to think too. Oh, well, I'm already paying so much for groceries, and now I'm going to have to pay an additional whatever because the paper costs more, and it's going to go into the food pricing. And so it's like, where do you draw the line between convenience, pricing, sustainability,
yeah.
making people care enough to pay an extra 4 cents per food product because of the difference in pricing?
Speaking of paying an extra 4 cents on food pricing, would you hold that thought for me? Till we're going to take a
Sure.
short break. Hold that thought because I'll forget what I want to talk about if you don't remember that. So, hey, we're going to take a short break. Corey made a comment on what you said. He said Aldi makes you pay for the bag,
They do.
you know,
Yeah.
hence they brought reusable bags.
Yeah.
And I know I've actually got an Aldi reusable bag, about
Mm.
reusable bag. I guess mom had it,
Yeah.
but you said talking about it, adding expense to whatever, in doing that. That's something I wanted to talk about today and get your all's opinion on. Is not the plastic bag side, but this side. Are fees, and this this is just my opinion, okay? This is just my opinion. But are fees the new F or four-letter word, let's call it, in corporate America slash small business? And let me tell you what I'm thinking of. And I mean, I don't know. It might just be me and looking at things, but the reality of it is, I think that more and more companies all the time, and I'd be curious if you guys are doing it, but more and more companies all the time, they're having a base rate for services, right? You know, we're having a base rate for services, but then they've got all these additional fees that they're coming on with. And I noticed one on my Spectrum bill the other day, and it was other fees was $15. And I looked it up, and that was for here at work. Okay, so this is a commercial account, not a residential account. Okay, now I have them at home, but the charge is not on my residential bill. That's what I'm really interested to know. But they had a $10 payment processing fee and a $5 paper billing fee. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the $5 paper billing fee, but I opted in to paper billing. Okay, because I still haven't convinced myself that I can't operate without a paper billing on a lot of stuff. But I will say that I did change it with them the other day. I went back to a non-paperless billing. So I'm kind of half and half on things with that now. But my point's this: why, or we know why, but are you going to implement some of these fees, if you will, rather than just a price increase for your services when it's necessary? You know, I just have a hard time with a $10 payment processing fee. And I called and I asked him about it. And the guy literally said, and I put him on speakerphone yesterday when I was talking to him so everybody could hear it in the office, because it was definitely, uh, I could tell it was going to be funny talking to this guy about it. So I put him on speaker and we listened to his explanation. And his explanation was, Hey, I agree with you. It is a dumb fee. He says, but that's just what we're doing. He said, we just charge everybody $10, regardless of how they make their payment, as a payment processing fee. I said, well, what's the way around it? And he said, if you set it up on auto pay, you don't have the $10 payment processing fee, regardless if it's an ACH, a credit card, however you want to do it. But it's got to be an auto payment. So, what did I do? I set up an auto pay. We talk about auto pays on here all the time. We have a lot of our customers on auto pay. But the question is, have you thought about it? And have you thought about adding fees? Not some guys say, well, yeah, we pass along our credit card processing fee or whatever. Okay. But how about like them just passing along a $10, regardless of the amount of your bill, a $10 payment processing fee unless it's on auto pay, and then a $5 paper billing fee. So I eliminated both those fees yesterday. And the guy said, well, hey, he said, here's what we'll do for your loyalty. We kind of talked about this a little bit on Wednesday. He says, I'll go ahead and give you a statement credit for the next 6 months as well for $5. Okay. So now we're feeling warm and cozy, right? He feels like he's giving me something. I feel like he's giving me something. But at the end of the day, I'm just curious on what you guys are doing. Uh, are you doing anything with fees? Let's see. Corey sent us something. Corey said, BBF fee is the funniest one I've ever seen. Don't know what that is?
I don't know.
Okay. It was added to a car loan. Oh, here we go. At the dealership. Stood for, oh, God. Corey got me. That's funny, Corey. All right, I should have read it, but hey, Corey, you sucked me right in on that one, buddy. But that was good. Corey's got the BBF fee, and it's called Bob's Boat Fund.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, they might as well say that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they really might as well say that. You know, I mean, the reality of it is, and Mike, what you just texted me is exactly where I'm headed with this. You know, a $5 paper billing fee, a $10 payment processing fee. The other day we ordered a truckload of bag mulch, okay, which that's nothing new for a lot of you guys out there. We all do it, right? So, but here's another thing. There's a 13.5%, I think it was, or 13% fuel surcharge fee from the delivery company. Now, that was before this deal in Iran came up. I mean, people have been charging fuel surcharges, you know, since fuel went up the first time many years ago. And I've really got a problem with a fuel surcharge at 13% of the load cost. Because does that truck know that it, and we've had this discussion, but I'm going to have it again because it is my pet peeve. Does that truck know if it's carrying 40,000 pounds of rocks, feathers, toothpaste? No. Here's my point. I'm paying 13% of the value of that load as a fuel surcharge. So because I'm buying a better grade of mulch, I'm paying more in fuel surcharge than if I was buying cheap mulch, but they were still sending me the same volume and weight.
That makes absolutely zero sense. I mean, if you're buying, like, even taking it to the extreme, like, if it's filled with gold, it doesn't make the gas any higher than if it's filled with plastic spoons. It's
Yeah,
still it still requires the same amount of gas to get from location A to location B and back
because of the weight.
because of the weight. It should be weight. It should be, if it's anything, it should be weight based or just, hey, it's a X percentage of load based. Like that's the easiest and most
Yeah, they ought to just say whatever weight it is. Hey, if you're getting a half a truckload weight, here's what your fuel surcharge is. If you're
right.
break it up that away, it's kind of like our dumpster here, and we use a national brand dumpster. But I told them, I said, I do not want to see fuel surcharge on my bill. I don't care if you bid it into my price. I just do not want to see fuel surcharge on my bill. And they got it out there.
And I think that's probably why a lot of the bigger businesses do it, especially those that are like telecommunication or waste management or shipping and things, because they can come in on a bid or they can come in on a commercial and say, hey, we're $30 per year less than, T-Mobile if you do Spectrum. But then they don't, because they can just say their base rate on TV and make it legal, or they can come
Right.
in on a bid on, shipping for, the US government and say, well, we're the lowest bid, but then there's 13% fee here, 18% fee here, and so they can come in on the bid or the commercial and look cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, it's different if we're adding late fees or rebilling fees and stuff like that, to Mike's point,
Yeah.
you know, but these are just, and another one that kills me is this shop supply fee. Shop supplies. And generally, that's 5 to 7.5% or more, depending on, the dealer that's doing it, whether it's an equipment dealer, and I'm not throwing equipment dealers under the bus, whether it's an equipment, I'm just talking about fees in general, but whether it's a car dealership, equipment dealership, hell, the service center across the street from us, you know, I mean, it's for their bill. When we do anything for them across the street, they get a shop supply bump. I figured, hell, if y'all going to get us, we're going to get you, you know? And I'm just curious how many of you guys are doing that, or if any.
Especially if your fee is a fixed fee,
I mean,
it makes
why
no sense to not just add it in.
why is it not calculated in as additional overhead? I mean,
If you can call them up and say, hey, what's your fee for this? And they're going to say, it's always 5%, it's always 8%, it's always this percent, then it doesn't need to be in addition to.
yeah, just add that to your pricing. I just don't get it. You take if a company's just doing $1 million a year. I mean, that's a lot of money, but I mean, just for an easy math scenario, that's $50,000 a year at 5% in shop supplies. That is not on any price item they've got in their shop. You know what I'm saying?
Assuming that it isn't, though,
Yeah,
too.
yeah, because and it could be, and they're double
Right.
dipping.
Yeah. So which one's
You know,
worse? The fact that they don't know or the fact that they do know and they're double dipping?
and because I guarantee you that Bill Etzgorn's as smart as he is, and I'm not picking him out either. I'm just saying that's who I'm talking about across the street dealer. It could be any dealership. Bill Collins Ford does it. Byerly Ford does it. They all do it. But these guys, they're smart enough to understand what their fee structure is. But they got shop supplies, fuel surcharges, payment processing fees. Jesus, man, what happened to knowing what your costs were? You know, they know how many towels they use. They know how much soap they use over there for their mechanics in their washroom, and miscellaneous nuts, bolts, screws. They know what that shit is. Really, there ain't no way you're gonna tell me they don't know it. And it should be brought in as additional overhead, a little bit on every item to everybody, rather than I know I feel really comfortable knowing they're already charging for it, but it's just an easy way to get the add-on boost. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just
and it
curious.
is one thing to have like additional fees that are annoying, and it's like some people don't want to see them because it's like, your opinion on them. But it's just a complete other thing to have a fee that makes no sense, like the 13% total
Yeah,
product
of
for
what
the
you're
gas. Like that makes absolutely zero sense. And that's a fee that needs to be rebranded, if only to make people feel better.
right.
Like
I
call it something else, but don't, even if you don't change it, but just at least call it something else. So you,
you know
like if you genuinely, I don't understand how someone at the high level that like a management or a decision making level would go, hey, this makes sense. And I think this name's a good name for it. I don't think people are going to like get upset by this or think about it. So let's do it. Like, who
Yeah.
thought that was a good idea? And
Yeah.
why? And after anyone called, why didn't they go, oh, maybe more people will catch on to this? We should probably just make a quick change in our system and change the
Yeah.
verbiage.
And it goes back to, well, everybody does it. That was our distributors. Well, it's not us, it's the guys that are hauling. Okay. Uh, I get it, but I mean, my God, man, just I don't know. I just think it's a bad way of doing business personally. But you know what we do? We keep buying the shit. That's the other side of it. We keep buying from them, you know? So, I mean, we're supporting the habit, you know? So, because at the end of the day, what do we look at? The bottom line cost on a bag of mulch from their door to our door, you know? So, but I'm like you, if they change the verbiage on it a little bit better, I like the Bob's Boat Fund, Corey. I'd rather him say that, hey, this is the BBF.
Yeah, at least be upfront about it.
Be upfront about it, man. You know, Mike said, I'll show up at their door in his hockey equipment. I have to collect. So that's funny. Oh, my God. Let's see. Mike says we ought to ask them for their percentage of their overall fuel cost before the surcharge was implemented. You know, yeah. That's it. I mean, those guys know what it costs to run them trucks. Because a lot of them are independent contractors, and those guys know what it's costing them, and they're probably not the ones. Well, I guess the independent contractors would be, getting it direct, but I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys feel as bad as I do about it, but I don't appreciate it one bit. But they do a high percent. Let's see. Mike says they do a high percentage for the same reason a lawn guy charges $40. It's what everybody else is doing. Well, I hear you. God, we talked about this yesterday, right? Or Wednesday. One of the six things, in my opinion, we need to quit, and that is just stop doing it because everybody else is doing it, or that's why we've always done it. Before long, I mean, I guess we're going to have something on there that says health insurance surcharge, rent surcharge,
Boot surcharge.
yeah, just list it all as a damn surcharge. Cost to mow your lawn $8.23.
Free lawn mowing. Just might
Free,
as well market it to free and then just
yeah,
have all the fees.
free lawn mowing. Other fees include cost of lawnmower $8.27,
Literally.
string trimmer $1.29, trailer 89 cents, truck $2.18, labor $14.93. So free to mow your lawn. Other charges is going to be $42.96. Markup is going to be $8.27. For $50, we'll mow your lawn free. I mean,
That's what it comes down to, really.
that's really what it comes down to,
No different.
But hey, who am I? I'm just a lawn guy. Hey, we'll be right back with more Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station. Don't you go anywhere. But do be thinking about those fees. Let me know. Do you all charge, other than late fees or collection fees and things that are legitimate, are you adding on a $5 paper billing fee, a 13% fuel surcharge fee? Now I know now with the fuel the way it is, you may be, and it's going to go up with what's going on in the Middle East, and maybe you'll do that. But on the other hand, if you've got proper cost recovery methodology in place, you wouldn't have to necessarily add it as a line item, even though you can, if your contract says you can. It depends on what type of pricing you have your fuel based at. So it is a very recoverable item, even though it is a moving target almost daily, right? Fuel cost is, but it's how you calculate that fuel cost initially, at what level, And then that's how you're pricing your jobs. Because I really got to believe that most of you guys out there mowing lawns and spraying lawns and doing landscape work, I really don't think you're using a moving target fuel number every day. I just don't believe that. I mean, I've talked to too many contractors across the country that most don't have a target, an understood and known target anyway, but certainly not a moving target every day on fuel cost, and it literally is. So the only way you got to do that is to look at what you're going to do and say, okay, how long are we writing contracts for? Are we doing a an annual contract? Are we doing a 2-year deal, 3-year deal? And how are we looking at fuel costs for that? And that's a discussion for another day. But it's all recoverable. But I think we owe it to ourselves, and I think more importantly, we owe it to our customers to not have a list of 4 or 5 fees on an invoice, for God's sakes, you know. And if you can go to bed at night and get up in the morning and look at yourself and shave and be good with it, keep doing it, you know. But if you're double dipping the system, no, doing it just because you can do it, I think then it becomes an ethical situation, you know. And what are your business ethics? And hell, we got a good seminar on business ethics. Um, but I mean, to each their own, you know. Um, just like I said, for me, it all flows in under additional overhead. It's either additional overhead or it's calculated into the expense of the piece of equipment or the truck if it's fuel or, whatever it is. I mean, and if I'm not saying that it's wrong necessarily to have a processing fee for a credit card but
Right.
uh, that's fine. But just make sure what you're doing is legit but I think people like seeing a price and not like, okay, well, here your internet's $12, but state tax, federal tax, local tax, uh, fuel surcharge, paper fee, payment processing fee, and shop supplies, and then BBF at 2% on top of all of it. Yeah, I got a problem with it. And obviously, it bothers me a whole lot more than it's bothering most of you guys. But, um, oh, Lord. Mike makes a good point. It's the same reason people like the majority of customers like flat rate billing over per cut billing. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100% with that. So, anyways, that's my soapbox on that today, if you will. But I just wanted to talk about that because we were talking quite a bit about that here. And, so that's going to be my truth bomb of the day. Yes, Dee Dee. The fees. Are the fees the new 4-letter word in small business? I don't know. Only you can decide. So that's what's going on. Da, 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 da. So the something else I wanted to talk about today, though, other than the fee thing, and I feel better now that I got that off my chest. But I wanted to see how many of you guys do spring seeding, and if you do spring seeding, so let me get through this a little bit before you start texting me. If you do spring seeding, are you making it when you present it to your customer? Are you presenting it as, okay, we'll do it in the spring, but we're also going to do it in the fall, and that's the way our proposal is going to look? Okay, I'm curious if you do that. In other words, do you make it mandatory for a fall seating as well? Uh, because that's something that we've changed to a few years ago. That we try to put somebody off to the fall if they absolutely want to get it done in the spring. We sell it as a 2-step program because we know that unless we have ideal growing conditions during the summer, we're going to have an issue with some of that turf that grows in the spring. Because we got such a shallow root system on it. When hot weather sets in or rainy weather sets in or whatever the adverse conditions are that set in, you know. So and then the next thing I'm curious about is if you do it, if you do seeding for somebody, do you tell them to stop their lawn applications with, you know, if somebody else is spraying the yard, or do you even ask, hey, do you have somebody treating your yard? Because that's another reason we're not real excited to do a whole lot of spring seeding, is because we're not controlling, if we're not the company doing their fert and weed apps, then we're not controlling the type and amount of product that's going down on that new seedling, which in itself can be problematic. And, you know, we become the bad guy because our seed didn't work right, you know? So, and we do, we take the time to explain this to people, but we also take the time to tell them, hey, we'll do it in the spring, but the only way we're going to do it in the spring is a two-step process. Do you guys think we're being silly with that? In other words, well, Wayne, if y'all won't do it, somebody else will do it one time for them. Absolutely, they will. You know, absolutely they will. But we're not going to assume the responsibility of the unknown weather factors that come along from March 30th through August 30th, let's say, or September 30th, you know, to try to make sure that that lawn's a success. Because even though you, and you guys know how it works, you know, the consumer, you know, they're like, oh, yeah, we'll take care of it. We'll water it. We'll do this, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, it's not getting done. And before they call you up and to come out and look at it, they water it like crazy. And see, I've been watering, you know, but I don't know. I just think it's an, your all, I want your all's opinion on it too. Do y'all do spring seeding? And if you do, how do you set it up? Do you just go do it once and that's it and don't matter, you know? Because even though technically we do not guarantee establishment with our seeding, we still don't want to set a customer up for failure just to go out and do a $700 power seeding job, let's say on a residential front lawn, you know, or $1,000 or $2 or $4. It doesn't really matter the amount. What matters is we don't want to set somebody up for failure just so we can go out and have a short term gain, because that's where it can get really problematic in a hurry. So I don't know. And then the customer carousel starts spinning again, Daniel, with that, you know,
Yeah.
the customer carousel spins at that point. They're like, well, y'all didn't do this and y'all didn't do that. And Corey said he just defers to sod on loan in the spring. And that could be the right answer, you know? I think that's a, at least it gives them and you a better chance of success, you know? Uh, but Seth says, I do spring seeding, but before I give a price, I recommend reseeding in the fall. Yeah. If they're not interested in fall seeding, then I'll pass on it. So he doesn't he doesn't do it. So there you go. I'm glad to hear that, Seth. Actually, you know, it's it again. It just the what do they call it, the squeeze and the juice, isn't hardly, it doesn't balance itself out sometimes, is what it really amounts to. So yeah. So you guys watching this on replay, I'm curious if you'd leave us a note or two on it and just give me your two thoughts on both those topics today, fees and on spring seeding, and how that affects, you know, your decisions you make within your business. Because, you know, I would much rather get the pre-emergent down versus the seed germination, you know, because I know, man, I run that power seeder through that yard, and if I'm not the one putting the pre-emergent down, you know, now that's where it comes into knowledge, right? Where, hey, you can change pre-emergence and still get your pre-emergent control, you know, by utilizing, you know, a pre-emergent that you can use with new seeds. But I guarantee you, if Wayne's Lawn Service is spraying Miss Smith's yard and Billy Bob rented a power seeder and went over and power seeded the backyard, we're not going to know that. I mean, until it's too late. You know, the pre-emergent's going to be down, and they're going to come power seed it, and there's not going to be successful. Now, what does that mean? The seed, they're going to have issues from a seeding standpoint, but then also the other problems they're going to run into is additional weed problems where the power seeder's been ran through the yard. Because we all know that's what happens as well. You know, I mean, we just try to talk people out of spring seeding. It's just not the right time to do it, you know? But if they insist, the only way we will do it is if they sign up for spring and fall seeding. And the both of them are paid up front. That's just the way we do it, because we know it's probably not going to get the result ultimately that they want with the spring seeding. So if we got the lawn program, like I said, and we can control what's going on it makes a whole lot. It's a different ball game. Same thing Fred said. He discourages spring seeding unless we have the lawn program. Because I mean, how can I be responsible for something that I'm not controlling what's going down on it? I mean, it sounds like I'm being a big wimp about this, but I'm just trying to turn the light on for you guys that may be relatively new into the fertilization and weed control side or new into the seeding side. And, fall's very forgiving when it comes to lawn renovations. Okay. Spring and summer is not. And that's just the reality of it. And it can be a very expensive teacher uh, both ways, So don't risk it. Just hey, the best thing to do is try to get people to move to the fall. And that's something we've done too. Is if if we move them to the fall, we'll go ahead and have them sign their proposal, sign off on it, get a deposit on it, and they know that everything's good. And we know that hey, they're locked in at least to the extent of their deposit because that's a non-refundable deposit. So it takes the customer off the market. Now, some people may they say that's a little bit unethical, or you're just demonstrating to the customer that you need money, and no, that's not it at all. It's almost like a prepay, if you will. It is a prepay. It's just not a prepay for mowing or fertilization of weed control. It's a prepay on a renovation. But what we're doing for them is we're guaranteeing and locking in that price for them as well. So the customer benefits from knowing, hey, it's scheduled, it's going to get done, the price is locked in, and we're good to go. It's not just, hey, well, what happens if you run away? Well, man, we've been in business 47 years. I don't think we're going to run away on you. Now, I can understand you having that concern if we just pulled up here and we just started this year, last year, because there's a lot of failure rates in our industry. But with us, you're not going to have to worry about us running away or going anywhere. So that's one thing we do. So that's how we try to solve the spring seeding solution issue, or that's what we use is number one, try to move them to the fall. And if we do, they go ahead and sign up then and pay a deposit or pay for it all, however they want to do it. But we do require a deposit on it. The other way is if they insist on spring seeding. And I get it. Sometimes it's just like, man, I can't take it. I cannot take it another 4 months. You know, I get that. Then, hey, we'll come out and do it in the spring. We'll come out and do it in the fall. Then we'll do it that way. But we also have to have the lawn care program because we cannot be held responsible for not knowing what product and how much of that product is going down on this newly renovated lawn that we're trying to get to grow for you. So there can definitely be a quick disconnect at that level as well. So I'm not saying don't do it if you don't have the lawn work. I'm just saying make sure that it's clearly stated in your proposal that you're not guaranteeing establishment or even germination. Your guarantee on seating is we're going to come out here with the proper equipment, state of the art equipment, a trained and knowledgeable person operating the equipment, certified grass seed, a new lawn starter, and the ability to do the job right and leave you a set of watering and care and maintenance directions. That's our guarantee, you know. But we can't guarantee establishment when we're not the one taking care of the property. So, with that being said, we're going to wrap this thing up today. I appreciate y'all's input. I seriously do on the fee structure and also the seating side of things. It's that time of the year. I mean, it really is. You guys know it. I know it. It's, a lot of things are going to start coming to play and kicking in with all of our businesses, and just try to be a little better prepared. We talked about the things, to quit doing. And, I appreciate that, Seth. You have a great weekend too, my friend. I appreciate you listening to us here on Profit Time here on Turfs Up Radio. But, um, the reality of it is there's a lot of ways to skin a cat, but figure out what's best for your company's sustainability and your company's growth. And last but not least, what's in your customer's best interest? Okay, because we're counting on loyalty, we're counting on that reoccurring revenue source, and it may be a seeding today, but it could turn into a lot of other things down the road. So that's why give them your best and solid advice on everything that you offer. And hey, you guys have a great day, great weekend. Be safe, and remember, profit is not a dirty word. We'll see you Monday.